pencil now, and with each breath, nice and slow, just a little dot in each corner. Breathing in and out. Once you're done with that, we're going to connect the dots, just drawing a border. It can be straight, it can be curvy, it does not matter. But when you do it, you can turn your tile, just really focus on the line from dot to dot, going nice and slow, not too slow, because we're just creating a border now. So just relaxed. Doesn't matter what it looks like. We have no perfection in ZoomTangle. As Rick Roberts would say, and Maria Thomas, a straight line has no character. But if you want a straight line, it's perfectly fine. So Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas are the founders of ZoomTangle, for those of you who don't know. And you can find more information about the founders and ZoomTangle worldwide at ZoomTangle.com. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw with our pencil. We're going to draw a line down the middle. Going nice and slow, trying to do it kind of straight, but not perfect. There's no perfection in ZoomTangle. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick the middle of each one of these sections and draw another line, splitting them in half, this whole section, and then another one here. Okay, from John to, okay, Sue, thank you. She's saying, what happened to no expectations? And I had thought about that. So we had a little question in the chat room, and we have another card here that has a little bit more things that we focus on. And one is no expectations. So yes, no expectations. Let everything go, let go of the outcome. And we're going to revisit that in a little while. Okay, thank you, Sue. Now, what we're going to do is put down your pencil and pick up your pen. Any black fine pen will do. Now, we're just setting down the foundation for what we're going to be doing, okay? This is kind of called a reticula, which sets down sections where our sorry, just found someone unmuted. I just had to mute them. Sections where we're going to tangle inside. So for the first column, try to think of maybe kind of like a square here. And you just want to draw a line with your pen from line to line. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. So you're giving, imagine there's enough space here to tangle something in it, all right? Now the next column, what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little bit of an arc. And then we'll do a straight line. And then an arc. And we're going to do that a few more times. I'm going to zoom out so you can see better. So again, think of it kind of making this kind of a square shape. Draw that line, giving it enough space. Same arc shape. Now remember, yours will not look like mine. Everyone's going to do this differently. Does not matter. Focus on each stroke. Relax, take your time, and keep doing this until you're done, until you've got enough sections. Your pen only needs a light touch. Don't grip too hard on that pen. Relax.
Jackie,
Yes.
it's Jan.
Oh, Jan, can you chat? Because this is being recorded.
Oh, sorry.
Or just take off the video and just use your, yeah. Yeah, so I'm just going to ask anybody who has a question to use the chat box because this is being recorded. Unless you want to be on the recording that people are going to watch. Okay. So Jan, do you want to chat with me with your question or comment? Full screen for you or in a little box like us? Is Jackie full screen for you? Or okay, so if you want to see this full screen, click on your speaker view button. Instead of gallery view, click on speaker view. Okay, good, thank you. All right, yeah, anyone feel free to ask any questions in the chat box. Happy to, sometimes it takes me a minute to get there. All right, so now for this first box here, it's going to be very, very simple. We're just going to draw some lines in this box. Just drawing lines to fill up this box. Not too close to each other. And then when you're done, you're going to turn your tile or your sketchbook and do the same thing. So it's almost like, it's really like a checkerboard or a grid in each one of these. And you're going to go nice and slow. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put on some music. And I want you to do this same thing with every other one in this column. Don't move on to the next section. We're going to do something totally different in this column. But for this one here, let's put these grids in every other section that you have. And I'm going to put some music on. And actually, you can also do it in this column. All right, so you can do it here too. So I will I'll do this one real quickly just to show you. Okay. I'll get that one done. So in these two columns, every other one, we'll do it just like this. I'm going to put some music on, and then I'll be back with the next step shortly. Just go nice and slow. There's no rush. We have lots of time today. Nice and slow, just like you're in one of my classes. And if you've been in them, you know how slow we go. Breathing in and out. So keep drawing. I just want to add a few things, say a few things. Number one is you notice mine are not all the same at all. When each time I do it, it's different. We don't focus on the outcome. We let go of the outcome. So there's some people that might be on the call for the first time doing ZoomTangle today. And I just want you to know that we don't worry about what it looks like, because it's going to look very different at the end. This is a mindfulness drawing class. It's all about slowing down, not thinking about anything, and just following instructions and not following instructions. This is your time. So if I suggest to draw a line and you want to draw a circle instead, then do it. Follow your own desires, your own intuitive, artistic, inner artistic intuition. I don't know if that really made sense, but you know what I mean. Just really, there's no right or wrong in ZoomTangle. It's just all about relaxing, slowing down, enjoying how the pen hits the paper, one stroke at a time. Don't worry about what it looks like. So I'm going to put on the music for a little while longer. Okay, so just a reminder too that if you finish before we move on to the next section, you can just relax, maybe have another sketchbook or tile you can draw on, or just relax, close your eyes. And if you are not finished by the time we move on, don't worry, you can go back to it anytime. So the other thing is, if you did not do it this way, if you said, oh, I did this in the same column next to it, or said, well, you did it somewhere else, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Just go with it. Everything's a suggestion. Just focus on the patterns I teach you and do whatever feels good to you. Does not matter at all. So now we're going to move on to another pattern, and we're going to fill in these spaces now in the first column. All right, you got to pay attention to this one. This is not as easy as the one we just did. It's easy because ZoomTangle is easy, but not as easy. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in for this one. Now this pattern that we're about to do for some of you who might be familiar with it, is called, drum roll please, a ruckus. A ruckus. I know many of you, like Trish and Deb, know how to do it. But we're going to do a single one right in here. Now, draw a little circle in the middle. We're working small. We're working small. Now, some of you might be working big, and that's okay. And if you're using a tile, it's small. But if you're working on a bigger piece of paper, you can go as big as you like. All right, so now I'm just going to zoom in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line from that circle to each corner of this box. Breathing in and out. And now we're going to give that line an aura, which is just drawing the same shape nice and close. Same thing, just doing the same thing. Okay, so now the next step, remember that circle? So now we're going to go almost like we're drawing a circle, but we're just going to put an arc shape from line to line, imagining that circle's coming underneath, never over. So we're just drawing this arc shape, trying to stay in line with that. So it's going underneath. Just once. We're not going to aura that, just that once. And so now we're going to do the same exact thing over and over. So we're going to aura both of these lines. So we're going to draw a line on either side, there and here. And you're going to do that on each one of these lines, an aura on either side of those lines. This is one of those patterns you just got to really focus on, or can get a little confusing. So once you do that once, or give it those auras on all four sides, we're now going to do that same arc thing in between, drawing that line again. So we're doing that same thing, but we're going to alternate. So once you've got those arcs on all sections, you can then draw those lines again. On either side. And then you do that arc again. Now with this pattern, you can alternate as many times as you want. You can do it until the whole thing's filled up, or you can just stop at any time. Right? So you're going to do the same one. I'm going to unzoom so you can kind of see what it looks like. You'll do the same thing again in this box. Or if you have any other spaces on this one column, and then in here as well. Now, what I've decided to do with this pattern, I'll zoom in again, is I'm going to maybe do it a couple more times, and then when I'm done, I will color this in. So for example, I'll show you right here. I'm going to put a little black, just a little coloring that in, and I'll do that on all four sides. That is optional. You might want to do something different, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay. All right, I'm going to put some music on. If you have a question, you can chat with me in the chat box, but there's no right or wrong. Do whatever. Don't think about it. Just do whatever whatever works. Okay. Well, I hope everyone's starting to feel very relaxed. I almost flipped out because I just looked at the number. We have 64 participants. I cannot believe that. I'm so happy. So nice. Okay. So we're going to move on now. And by the way, for those of you who haven't checked out the chat box, you might want to look at that. We've got some cute little things going on there. Oh, yes. So Jackie, can you put up the name of this pattern again? I certainly can. And here we have, it's a ruckus. And really write this down because you want to Google this pattern, a ruckus, because there's so many cool things you can do with this pattern. We did a single ruckus today, and a ruckus can be done with multiple circles and lines. And it's an original ZoomTangle pattern. And if you just Google a ruckus tangle pattern, it will take you to the step out. It's on tanglepatterns.com. There's a nice video there with Molly, the founder's Maria's daughter, who's very active in the ZoomTangle business. So anyways, and she's great. All right, we're gonna move on. Now, let's see. And by the way, if you ask a question in the chat, just give me time. Sometimes it takes me a few minutes to look up at the chat, and I will get to it. All right, so now we're gonna do something a little bit easier. And we're gonna start with this box here, and then we'll do the same every other one, and the same on each column. And then we're gonna do one of my favorite patterns that's gonna go in between. Actually, we're gonna start here because my favorite pattern, I don't want it next to this one. So I should say my favorite pattern, one of them. Now, so we'll start with this one, the second one, or wherever is next to your ruckus. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start to draw a line, but kind of, it's kind of very, you draw it, but then you kind of leave a space. It's kind of very light, just drawing light lines that have little, it's not straight. You don't want it straight. It's just very lightly drawing a line, and then it kind of breaks up. Think of maybe like a log. Don't think too much about this. It's just drawing these lines that, if nothing else, just draw a line, leave a space, and draw another line. You could have some solid lines in there too. I think I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see better. Again, it doesn't have to look like this. Every time I do this, it looks different. I'll do it again here. I'm gonna do every other one, leave those spaces there. So I like to start in the middle. So I'm just drawing a line, some, all different, they're not all equal. And you can do it lightly with a little space in between. You can do several spaces. Just enjoy the strokes, one stroke at a time. I'm going way too fast, so let's all slow down, take a nice deep breath. And then you'll do the same on the other column. Taking your time. And this pattern is called Xander. Another original ZoomTangle pattern, Xander. And at the end, I can go through these again if anybody misses them, Xander. Now, I'd like to do one other thing that I forgot to tell you. Not forgot, but, well, yeah, I kind of forgot. What I'd like to do, and this is optional, I want to double up these arc lines. So just giving it an aura, just one aura. Actually, see, I'm going to turn my thing. So I'm going to do that. Actually, you know what? Well, some of you might have already started doing that. All right, we'll continue with that. Very skinny aura, very skinny, because you don't want to take up too much space from what we're going to do the next pattern with. So that's just an option if you'd like to double those lines up. So I'm going to put some music on for just a little bit. This is not going to take long. And I hope you guys can hear the music. I want you to take a moment now and just take a little body break. Uh, Tap your pens if you want, you don't have to. Shake out your wrists, your shoulders, move your body around. If you like to get up and take a stretch break, something like that, grab a drink if you like. I'll wait, I'll take about 1 minute if anybody needs to go do something. And remember, this is being recorded, so you can always come back and revisit it. I will probably post it on YouTube, but I'll send it out in the newsletter. But if you're gonna if you're gonna stay seated, just do a little body break. Shake out your wrists, your shoulders, move your body around, stretch. Yeah. Look at Marcy, she's doing a great stretch. Way to go. That's what I'm doing too. Yes. And it's 3:50, and I'll start up again at 3:51. I'll play some music. Okay. All right. So it's 3:51 or 3:52. So I'm going to start up again, and I'll start slowly, giving people a chance to get back. I see some people stepped out. All righty. Now we're going to do one more pattern to fill up the rest of these sections, and then we'll do our shading. Oh, yeah, I told you, Xander. Okay, so this next pattern is called Cootie. I mean, I even like the name. Everybody, you know, some of you may know this pattern, some of you more experienced, maybe some of you CZTs, but Cootie, or Cootie, I think it's Cootie. And again, I can repeat these at the end later. All right, so here's what we're going to do with this one. I love it. Lots of fun. Now, it's going to be a little bit awkward with this shape, but that's because it typically goes into a square, a grid pattern, but it doesn't matter. Nothing matters in ZoomTangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line down the middle, and I'll zoom in a little bit. And then across the middle. So we're making like a four, wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, I'm doing it right. We're going to be working kind of small. So 4 quadrants, if you will, or 4 sections. And now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Let's sit nice and close. So now for each section, we'll be doing the same thing. So you're going to draw an arc from corner to corner, draw a very slight arc shape. And then the same thing on the other side. And in the middle here, we're going to draw a circle in the middle. It can either be a circle, yeah, just draw a circle's easier. A little circle in the middle, color that in. And now we're going to aura this shape of that one side, that side of that circle. So we're just giving these arc lines, auraing that side of the circle. And then we're going to do the same thing with these arc shapes. We're going to aura until we fill up that whole section. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. We're auraing that arc shape. And I just love this. Now, you're going to do the same thing in all 4. However, you can change the direction of the corner to corner how we start. So we started with this one. We started from this bottom left to the right. So now I'm going to start from the opposite. I'm going to go from the top left to the bottom right, giving it that rice shape, they call that in ZoomTangle, and that circle in the middle. And you could do this. You don't have to do it this way. You can do it the same way. But that's. And then we do the same thing with the auras on either side. And then for the other 2, you can do whatever you like. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this corner to corner like this on this one. So it really is the same as the opposite one here that we did. So I'm just going fast to get through this one. Don't you go fast. I'm just going just to show you. You can watch me just to demonstrate this first section. And then I think I'll do the same thing that this one is here. So I'll go like that. Again, this is just a preference. You can do whatever you'd like. It can all be going the same direction. And again, we're working kind of small. You don't have to work this small if you're on a bigger tile or paper, and so that's what that is. Right? And you can do it different in each section. So I'm going to put on some music, and we'll fill up the rest of those sections with that. If you ever forget, just look up and watch me. I'll put some music on, and then we will start our shading after that. Now I just want to mention, oh, that's nice. That's Michaela. I was wondering who that young girl was. Hello there. Welcome. And just remember, you can also, if you'd like, chat with individuals. You don't have to chat with just everyone. So if you see someone on the list and you want to say hello, you can just go to the chat box, click on the arrow next to where it says everyone, and put the person's name you want to chat to. Okay, let's put some music. Maybe you can turn your tile at any time to get a more comfortable position. Okay, how are we doing? Are we ready to shade? Oh, Jane, I see a raised hand. What I'm going to do, let's see. What I would ask, so I was still recording. I'm gonna pause. Let's try this. Pause, record. I want to screw this up. Okay, so now you can keep your tortillon nearby, but we're gonna now work with our pencil. And shading is a way to add depth to our tile and to make it pop. It's just a lot of fun. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our, use the side of your pencil and right along the edge of that first column, just put in some graphite, just a lot, almost like right on the line and a little bit, just a little bit in that first column section. So we're right on the line, right on the edge, right edge of that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, okay, right. And once you've got some graphite down, you'll then pick up your tortillon and just blend it in, circular motion or back and forth, just blending that, staying on that edge, coming all the way down. Right? And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, all right? So we're focusing on this column. Just saw somebody got unmuted. We're just going to mute. If you have a question, just please type it because we're recording again. All right. Jacki, please zoom in. Oh, I think I just did. Thank you, Kathy. Yep. I think that's good, right? I'm going to zoom in some more. I think that's a good idea. Thank you. So now here, we're going to do the same thing with this column. So we'll think of it the left side, just right along the edge of that left side of this column here with the ruckus and the checkerboard. And then we'll do the same thing, just kind of blend it in. And you can see how this is starting to lift off. So I would suggest maybe doing a little bit more on each side, just blending it in. Add some more graphite if you think that's necessary. And then you do the same thing here. So this on the right side of this column, exact same thing we did here. This we're gonna do right here. So take your graphite, just very lightly. You don't have to be too light on this, but you can always add more. So it's always good to start light and then add more. And then blend it in, little circular motions or back and forth. Giving you a minute now to do that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay. Now, we're going to add some shading right underneath our arcs. Now, you can use the remnants of your tortillon first because you might have a lot on there, and just very lightly, we're just doing a little bit here. This is much lighter than what we just did, just to right underneath these arcs on the Xander, the pattern. This is the pattern Xander with these broken up lines. And you can even put it, yeah. Do that on all your Xanders. Just a little bit, kind of light for that. Okay. Now, let's see. For the ruckus here, I'm going to take, let's see, not this side because we already have, let me see what I want to do. Now, this is, follow your own gut here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little graphite right in here, right in between those sections there. I'm just going to do it on that section, just a little bit. Well, actually, maybe I'll do it on all 4 sections. Yeah, I like that. Because now it helps this lift up. And I'm just using the remnants of my tortillon. I'm going to do that on these ruckuses. Just dabbing, using what's left on my tortillon in between these little sections. And again, there's no right or wrong way to shade. So if you have another idea that's calling to you, maybe you're a little bit more experienced at shading, you know that you can do whatever you like to do. And we'll do one more shading after this. Just want to give people an opportunity to do that. I see a lot of people doing a lot, working hard. Okay. I can't believe all 64 people are still here. I'm glad I didn't lose anybody yet. Okay. So now let's, I'm still going to use the tortillon because I'm working in such a small area. And I'm just going to kind of, let's see here. I'm going to just give it a little bit of an outline on these little sections on the outside of these sections there. So all this white area here might just pop up a little bit. I'm just going to do the corners. I'm outlining the corners. So if you just dab a little bit in the corners, that's absolutely fine. And I'm still using the remnants of what's left on my tortillon. Now, what I think I might do too, I might put a little bit right inside on the edges of those arcs that we did. If there's room, I might not do it on all of them, but just a dab right inside those arc lines that we started with. And I'm just kind of just dabbing, using the remnants of my tortillon again. Okay. So take a minute now and finish up what you're doing. Now, if you're not nearly, some of you might not be nearly as done, and that's okay. You'll just finish it up later. But if you are, you want to sign your tile anywhere you'd like with your initials or your name or your chalk. So however you want to designate your signature, that it's yours, and that's on the front. Now in the back, we did put our name, today's date, and where we were, ZoomTangle. And then on the front, we kind of sign. You can date the front too if you want to.